to this session. We are always excited to bring in new speakers, new ideas, new topics, and unlike any other place, other weeks, we have two new speakers with the first speaker joining in from Cairo, Egypt. So he has been very kind and join and to say yes at the very last moment because other speakers had to back off due to Corona. So we hope and pray for all so that everyone is safe. But with this, Let Us Talk It has been always trying and still trying to help anyone who is in need, at least in the Michigan area where we are located. So you can visit our website, letustalkit.com, and there are places where you can put in if any doctor's help or you can get in contact with us and we'll let you know what other ways that Let Us Talk It can help. So that's from that side. And for here, today's topic, the first topic we have the relationship between change management strategies and the critical success factors in ERP implementation. Very important topic. And we, as you always know, that we have youth webinars as well. And if you want to register your kids the beginning of the year, you can go to letustalkit.com/youth and register your kids. And coming back to our professional webinars, which happens every Wednesday from 12 p.m. EST US time. So with that, we are here today. And as I said, the topic that will be discussed today is a relationship between change management strategies and critical success factors. And it will be spoken by Ahmed Rafiq. And he is author, global thought leader in ERP career coach. He has been transforming the way professionals and organizations live in a dynamic lifestyle. He has been ranked top 10 global thought leaders in ERP. He is also in change management, agile ritual, security awareness. This sounds too much, but we are sure that he will help us understand these concepts. If you have questions, please join the Zoom link and you can interact with Ahmed directly. Absolute honor to have you, Ahmed. Over to you.
I'm pleased to join you and your community. And thanks for this invitation. And also, I would like to going through the topic directly. And let me just introduce the relationship between change management strategies and the ERP critical success factors. As all know that the ERP is abbreviation for enterprise resource planning. And the enterprise resource planning are systems that are communicating with the users by giving them the information needed from their system by establishing one database that can communicate with every department in the organization. And this is how the ERP is implemented in worldwide, and also especially here in Egypt. And we will discuss how the implementation of ERP projects, how it's failed, and why the percentage of the failure of ERP systems are increasing, and what is the critical success factors that we should take into consideration for implementing when implementing the ERP projects. So let's go to the slides first. in the slide is presented now. Did you see the presentation?
Yes.
You see the slides now, right?
No, not yet. We're not seeing anything yet.
Are you sharing or Vamshi is sharing?
Okay, I will check.
Yeah, if then you have to share. He has to share, right? So yeah, if you can share, Ahmed.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see now. Perfect.
Okay. So the contents of our session today will be in 7 points. These 7 points we will go through one by one to define what is the critical success factors in ERP project implementation and the top 10 barriers to a successful ERP implementation, and what is the technology framework that we are working on always in implementing these projects. And we will define what is the change management here and why change management is one of the top key success factors in ERP implementation, and what are the components and the 4 pillars of change management, and why it's important to integrate the change management strategies with project management and to be aligned with. So let's get started. And let's say, what is ERP critical success factors? Okay, critical success factors, as you see now, is a management term for an element that is necessary for organization or project to achieve its mission, to achieve their goals. So they need to be aware of each key success factor and the variation between the keys and the different roles, key result area. What that means is that the project or any project, it has a critical success factor that every department, every management department, or the project management department exactly, need to be aware of these top critical success factors for ERP implementation. So when we going through the critical success factors in a lot of theses and papers and a lot of researches in journals and so on, we noticed that there is a lot of researchers worldwide that talk about the critical success factors. So I tried to go through something that can gather all the critical success factors. So I found a lot of theses that talking about the critical success factors thesis that have made, and also how it's ranked in all these theses. So let's go move to the next slide and see the thesis and the paper that identify the critical success factors of ERP implementation. This is from the period from 1998 to 2010. As you see in the slides, that in this period, there is a lot of change, there is a lot of critical success factors in a lot of theses, and they all gathered in one graph, as you see right now. So if you are going through everyone, I don't know, it's how we have the time to go through all these critical success factors, but we can define what is the top 5 critical success factors for ERP projects. But here you will know this is the top management support and involvement, the first key success factor. This is approximately around 130 times that have mentioned that it is an important in ERP projects. Also, the project management itself is also considered about 100 times in every research. The user training, the change management itself, also a balanced project team, clear goals and objectives. All these are the critical success factors, and the top 5 of the critical success factors for the ERP. Okay. So when we go through the top 5, we will see that the top management commitment and support, and that means that also that the top management have support the change that will happen in their organization to adopt the new technology, and also to get to the digital transformation in their organization by having a commitment and support from the top level of the company. Okay, so you have to get a sponsor for this project who is keen to implement and recognize and go live with this project and make it a success. Okay, the second one also is the project management. Also the project management and the PMO office that is included in the project that are going through determining the resources and the time and the scope and also the quality of every phase of the ERP project. Also the user training, how you conduct the training for the ERP software for key users and the users itself that will use the system. Also, you will find the change management practices and strategies that are not implemented in the ERP projects. So it's just one of the top 5 reasons and the top 5 critical success factors to take into consideration when implementing the ERP. Also, the balanced project team. Also, you will not have the project team unless from the PMO office or the project management office. They will determine the proper project team and determine also their experiences in their industries and how they know the application well. So they have to be selected in a good manner. In the third slide, we are talking about we are talking before about the success, how we make this ERP project a success by developing and implementing the critical success factors. So here we are making the reverse, or we are working in a reverse way by mentioning the top 10 barriers to a successful ERP implementation. What is the biggest thing that we face when implementing the ERP? So from this graph, as you see now, that one of the first barrier to implement the ERP system is the resistance of change. People resist any change that happen in their company. So and this is the main point that we are struggling when implementing the ERP. People also are afraid for the new system. They feel they will be fired if they implement the ERP system. There's a lot of reasons about their fears, and as they say, the ambiguity that they have about how they implement the ERP and what the system will do to the people in their company. So it is the top from the top reasons that the resistance to change from the people. Okay. Also, the inadequate sponsorship, and this is this point we considered in the critical success factor by having a good sponsorship and a good leadership for this project from the customer side. Okay. Unrealistic expectation in the third top 10. It's the third unrealistic expectation because the business owners don't know what is ERP, and they need a lot of features and a lot of functions and a lot of repos and a lot of, they have unrealistic expectation because they don't know what is ERP and how they implement it and how can I go to the extreme expectation that I want. They need their expectation from day one. So how do you want to make this first big step without the first baby step? So this is one of the barriers to implement the ERP. So you have to manage the expectations for the stakeholders first. Okay. Also, the poor project management and so on. There are a lot of barriers, and you have the slide and can read it all. But we have to mention the top 3 or top 5 as we. So when we are talking about the top 10 barriers and the critical success factors, we have to know first what is the technology framework that we are using when implementing the ERP. So you will get the relationship between what is the change that should happen and the critical success factors that can you map on these on this framework. As you see that technology framework contained of 3 pillars. We can say 3 pillars: people, process, and technology. So what is the relation between the critical success factors that we read from about 2 minutes and the technology framework? As you can see, I will make it short for you, but you have to know that technology is technology. You can implement the technology, you can learn the technology, you can get the best hardware and get best software. But the first thing that you will face is the resistance of change that you will have from the people. So the people here are the first in implementing the ERP. All project management don't rely on people and don't make the project around the people. They make it around the technology itself, or the process. But the process itself is also a lot of project management projects in ERP don't focus more on process in the customer side or in the companies, because the ERP itself introduce you the best practice of the process that you will have in supply chain or finance or manufacturing and so on. So it's not the big deal to know about the process, because the ERP will do it, okay? And the technology, already we are using the project management for managing the project of this technology as it's ERP or anything else. So the people are the main. So the people are the main in any project. and this is what the project management failed to do, to manage the people itself. I added also one pillar also called data, and this is what I added because I face a lot of mistakes and failures in ERP projects, that you have to prepare the data. You have to prepare your data first before moving to the ERP, because this will increase the period of the project and the cost also, because the customer don't know the data, or don't have the full data, the full data for their projects. So you're stuck in this stage when you are going to request the needed data for your project when implementing the ERP. So you have to be ready first for your data before implementing the ERP. And also you have to be ready when dealing with people, because this is a missing point in ERP projects. So what can change management can do in these in these critical success factors and barriers of change? As you know that the ACMP, this is the Association of Change Management Professional, define that change management is the practice of applying a structured approach to transition an organization from a current state to a future state, so to achieve the expected benefits. So as you see that the presentation, when we are talking about the critical success factors, you will see that change management, one of the top critical success factors when implementing the ERP. And why change management is key success factor? Because as you know, ProSci is a big organization in change management, and they have their own model. It's known as ADKAR model, ADKAR model. They have a model for change management, and they define that the successful change management, when you are going through change management, it's increase the project adoption rates, and also when you are implementing the change management in ERP projects, also they have a failure rate in change management. Okay, but so they have to take into consideration a lot of things when going through the change management activities. Let us talk about what is the 4 pillars of change management. We are talking about 4 things: the stakeholder management, the training, communication, and organizational design. So as you see that all we talk about the stakeholders and the sponsorship and the user training and how they communicate with each other, and also the organizational design to make the people know their roles, their new roles when implementing the ERP. It's all have a relation between the critical success factors and the 4 pillars of change management. Okay, so you have to make a good sponsorship, a strategy for the training for users and key users and end users. Also, you have to make the communication plan, and you have to make also the organizational design for the ERP project, and define the roles that should be defined for every one will use the ERP project. So let's get moved to the next slide. This is about the integration between both the project management and the change management. It's very obvious now that we have to integrate these two domains into others and make project management adopt the change management strategies to be able to manage the people side of change, And the CMO and the PMO have similar objectives, but the change management is also using the people key concept as a big and vital one in implementing the ERP. Anyone have any questions in this slide?
A great session, Ahmed. Thank you for your time. So typically, in the ERP projects that you have seen, there are designated resources and handling the CMO, like exclusively, or is it shared by the PMO office itself?
Well, let me tell you that they should have a change management office, and they have a project management office. Okay, so they have to define the roles of the change management office, and they are making a lot of researches in this subject. They should have a change management officer, and also they have to have a change agents. They have change management practitioners. Okay, so these roles are very well developed in the last years worldwide, and it's very critical for project management to adopt these people to implement the change itself in the organization.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. That's really this is a wide range topic, and you were able to give us a detailed presentation within this session. Thank you so much. For anyone who would like to communicate, ask question, or interact, or share your thoughts, please raise your hand or just unmute. Okay. Great. So no one yet is sending their query. Okay. So here you can check Ahmed through LinkedIn if you wish to talk with him offline. So that's how you find him. He's very responsive. Thank you so much. So if you have further questions along the way, you can just put it through chat, or you can reach out to Ahmed through LinkedIn. All right. So we can go to our next topic and our next speaker for today's session. This is the second time he will be with us. He will be discussing this time the continuous personal transformation. He is a great speaker, a great motivator as well. And he is the author of Self-Identification Management book. So that's SIM, certified Scrum Master, an experienced project management professional, and an IT consultant, and also the founder of Live on Purpose Initiative. So it is committed to connecting millennials together, building, growing, and achieving together. So the taglines itself, it's really purely inspiring and motivating others. So here with us to talk about this topic on how to foster a sustainable personal transformation journey. glad to present to you Timoteo Uidiran. Over to you.
Good day, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. Good day, good day. Thank you very much for having me once again, and thank you very much for that introduction. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Rafiq. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Thank you for also kicking off for tonight. That was really amazing. You've made my job very easier by talking about change management. To just a moment, I'm going to be talking specifically on a topic which I believe we've been told that I will be talking about. And it's going to be interesting. If possible, I would like to get responses from people if you can give responses, because every one of us at one point in time we're going to experience this. It's something that happens to every one of us, but it's something that it's up to us whether we want to manage it. That is, taking control of it, making sure that we use it to our benefit rather than that thing working against us. I'm going to be going into that. So my topic for tonight is continuous personal transformation. Continuous personal transformation. And this is purely how do we foster a sustainable personal transformation journey? How do we foster a sustainable personal transformation journey? My name, as has been mentioned, is Temitayo Oyediro. I'm a certified independent coach, a speaker, and also a trainer. And I'm also a certified Scrum Master, which is more or less a servant leadership for agile coaching. And also experienced as a project management professional, a service manager, an IT consultant, and also a trained business analyst. And what exactly have I got to discuss with us tonight? I believe it's critical for us to understand that every one of us will experience some form of change or changes at one point in time. Changes can either happen to us or we can initiate the change. When you initiate a change, it means that you have seen that your current situation or your current state, it's not aligning with what you have forecasted for yourself or for the vision that you have for yourself. Then you make certain changes, you make some changes to help you get into that. Our previous speaker, Mr. Ahmed, said that change management is one of the key success factors for project success. And also change management is to transition from the current state to future state, so that at least we can derive the benefit. There is no point for any change to take place if there is no need for some form of benefit or value to be derived from taking steps towards making those changes. Okay, and I'm using changes because transformation is sort of like transformation is something that is a process of actually going through change, as it were. It's also you going through some form of like conversion, as it were. It's also you going through maybe altering certain things in your life or in the things that pertain to you in order for you to be able to get a desired result, or for you to be able to at least make progress in life, at least get to the next step which you have proposed for yourself. It's transformation also involves when you revolutionize yourself. You can revolutionize your business, revolutionize the way your health is. I mean, by making sure that at least you do something that will help you to be able to keep fit. You can revolutionize maybe your eating pattern. You can revolutionize maybe the way you're thinking, your intellect. You can revolutionize maybe how people see you, your branding, your personal brand. So these are the things that you can actually involve some form of changes to it by making you to transform from what you are to the next level. And I will quickly borrow one quote that I read from Tony Robbins. And the quote goes like this. It says, "Good times make weak people. Weak people make bad times. Bad times make strong people. And strong people make great times." I'm going to read that again, and you would see where all of these things, they connect to each other. It says, good times, they make weak people. Weak people, they make bad times, and bad times make strong people. Strong people then make good times. When you listen to these, aren't you going to be thinking, okay, that's probably the opposite. Good times and weak people and bad times and strong people make good times. Basically, what it's saying is it is not the timing, right, that actually changes a person. It is the mindset of the person that can automatically, or let me say, that can eventually change the circumstance that works with time. Okay, time, as we know, doesn't wait for anybody. We can't simply control the time. It goes as it like. But what happened is it is the effect of what we do within the space of that time that matters. It is the things that we do within the space of that time that is what matters. Everything revolves like a circle. Whether good time, whether bad time, they happen to everyone. But what happened is, what is your perspective to the good time? What is your perspective to the bad time? How do you respond to each of those times? How do you respond? The way you respond to a good time is not the same way that you respond to a bad time. Because like I said, bad times make strong people because of how they respond to the bad times. And your response is based on how much you have evolved, how much you have changed your mindset. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is really driving up some points to someone tonight, or if this is during the day for you. The only thing that is constant is change. Change is also, it involves transformation. Okay, you can't change certain things in your life without experiencing transformation. And what is the purpose of transformation if you're not willing to add value to yourself or value to the people around you? The only thing that can give happiness to people is progress. When you make progress, no matter how tiny the progress is, you feel like you're living, you feel like you're alive, you feel like something has happened that is positive. That is a positive aspect. That is something positive that you can sort of like rejoice over. But when every time you make attempts, it's bad, you keep thinking, okay, yes, I will try tomorrow. But when there's no hope of any form of progress, like in the case of Thomas Edison. So, I mean, trying to make what's it called? Trying to create something out of nothing. And there's no form of encouragement, there's no form of improvement in that thing. I think it's going to be very discouraging. It's going to be really very discouraging, and you will feel like you're alone in that situation, and you feel like something is not just working. But the moment that you consider, oh wow, even though I am not there yet, but I can see that I'm making progress, that is very encouraging. So I just want us to really think deeply about that to experience transformation, you and I will need to experience growth. You and I will need to experience some form of building. We have to build ourselves to experience that transformation, because that is when we can experience some transformation in itself. So transformation is definitely not by chance. It doesn't just happen all of a sudden. It doesn't just happen by itself. It takes a gradual process. It takes certain sacrifices. It takes a little bit of investment, right? It takes one to be intentional in order to be able to experience transformation. And this moment, we're talking about the continuous personal transformation. If something requires one to be intentional about it, then that means you have to be really committed. That means you have to ensure that it's not just a one-off thing. It is something that you have to gradually do. You have to gradually continue in that process. You have to continue in that journey. You experienced transformation yesterday. Are you going to live at that? Because why? Abraham Lincoln says that I don't think of a man who is not wiser today than it was yesterday. What does that mean? You have to continuously make progress. You have to continuously think of way out. The same phone that we're using today, is it the same phone that we were using many years ago? No way. Because why? People's minds are constantly growing. People's minds are constantly thinking, innovating, and just coming up with different ways to make life easier and better for every one of us. And to do that, we have to keep thinking. So whether you're changing, whether you're transforming yourself, it's first of all in your own benefit and then for the benefit of everyone that comes in contact with you. But you have to be the one to ensure that the transformation or the change, the growth mindset that you have exhibited in yourself, it's first for you to be able to, first of all, benefit from it, for others to benefit. And I'm going to get there at later. So how do we foster sustainable personal transformation journey? How do we foster a sustainable transformation journey? Transformation is not just for us to just think about it. We have to work at it and we have to work it out. So to transform to the maximum level, we need to make, we need to definitely forfeit some experiences in the past. We need to make sure that we learn lessons from the things that we have enjoyed, whether good or bad, the things that have happened to us, good or bad. We learn the lessons from there, and then we'll move to the next level. We'll move to greater heights. We'll move to something better. We experience something better enough in order for us to be able to enjoy what that thing. If you don't progress to the next level, you don't face the challenges that are in the next level. And can I tell you the truth? The challenges of the next level, they're not the same as the challenges of your current level. Your current stage, the challenges or the situation that you experience in your current state, they are not as challenging as the one for the next level. So you need to constantly develop yourself. You need to constantly evolve in order for you to be able to meet up for the next level and to be able to at least achieve as much as you think you can achieve. Okay, so the lessons from the past, they are very vital for us to be able to climb to the next level. And also that helps us to be able to build a structure around our transformation journey. There is need for us to build a structure to be able to come up with things that we need to do to help us to be able to go forward. We're going to get there very soon. We're going to get there very soon. Transformation, importantly, should be very gradual and steady. If you climb the stairs, you jump from the bottom to the top all at once, what would happen is either you injure yourself or you fall down. That's what usually happens. So transformation must be gradual. You take it one step at a time. I hope I'm speaking to someone tonight. Don't think that you can get to the top all at once. You take it one step at a time. I remember in my career, when I started on the journey of project management, the first thing that I did was to start from the project coordinator role, then to project manager role, then to senior project manager role, before I decided that I wanted to go into coaching, and then I'm now into Scrum Master and then as an Agile coach. So it's not essentially that easy for one to just decide that, okay, yes, I want to get from the bottom level to the top just overnight or just all of a sudden. It's not that straightforward. It's not that easy. And because of time, I'm just going to quickly round up now. So I'm sure you're very much familiar with the story of the eagle. The story of the eagle. Ideally, an eagle lives for a minimum or maybe like a maximum of, let's say, an eagle would live for maybe around 30 to 28 to 30 years, roughly. That's the normal number of years that an eagle could live for. But in order for an eagle to then move to live for another 40 years after that, then there must be a change that must take place. There must be a change that will take place. And I'm quickly just going to go through this. An eagle experienced transformation in a weird way, and more importantly, in a very strict way, in a very strict way. And I don't know about you, to experience transformation, there is a level of pain involved, there is a level of commitment involved, there is a level of sacrifice involved, there is a level of also investment involved. All of these things are involved in your personal transformation, in my personal transformation. Nothing happens overnight. I keep repeating, nothing happens overnight. So the lifespan of an ego is roughly 20 to 30 years. And then if an ego decide, okay, yes, I want to live up to 70 years, which is actually a potential for them. There's a potential for an ego to live up to 70 years. But he has to go through certain steps, and that he has to decide, okay, do I want to go through this stress, or do I want to go through the things that will help me to get to 70 years? You know what? So to reach that 70 for an ego, then the ego must make a decision, a critical decision to be precise. Add one at that point. And one of the things that will happen is, first, because of the age of an ego at that 30 years old, right? First, the beak becomes very weak and starts bending off. So that's one of the things that happen to an ego. And then that means an ego will not be able to at least hold on to food as long as it wants to. That is really critical to an ego, for an ego to be able to catch and consume food. The beak is very, very essential. So without that, then the ego is almost as good as being dead. But for me to survive as an ego, then I need to do something. I need to decide. There are two options here for me. Do I die in this situation because I can't simply function as an old ego? Your feathers are already breaking off. The life is already leaving you gradually as an ego. Or you go through the process of change, which can last minimum of 150 days. 150 days. Do you know that it takes a man roughly of 90 days to actually be glued to a particular process whereby you're unable to actually come out of that process? Let's say you decide that you want to go on maybe you want to lose weight, and you decide that you want to be going you want to go to the gym, to hit the gym, and then go for exercise, and then things like that. It takes a minimum of 90 days for you to actually to be glued to that process, for you to be glued to that activity, and then nothing else can change, or nothing else can discourage you. Or let me say, you would be it would be very difficult for you to be discouraged after 90 days of doing that consistently. So consistency is also critical here. Going back to the story of an ego, so the beak becomes very bent because of the weakness. The feathers start coming off, which is the process called molting, right? Whereby the ego then loses its feather one after the other. It's a gradual process that takes some time. And then it's up to the ego to decide, okay, do I want to stay alive for these feathers to be renewed? And that happens continuously. So what happened? The ego would then fly to an high mountain and stays there for the next 150 days, which is roughly 5 months, to go through this process of transformation. So the question that I'm asking you today is, can you submit yourself to continue in that transformation journey, even if it lasts more than 5 months, as the case of an ego is? If it lasts more than a year, can you consistently stick to the role of that transformation journey? How sustainable is your transformation journey? How sustainable is that? What will keep you going in that space where you are transformed day after day, and you think, okay, I can hold on to this? So I think that is what I'm coming with tonight, just to challenge us that transformation can happen to us, but how can we sustain that transformation? How do we keep on? How do we remain consistent? How do we continue in that journey of personal transformation? So during the 150 days that the ego is going through transformation, the certain things happen to the ego, right? It goes to the nest where the eaglets are supposed to be kept, right? The young eagles, right? And then it stays there. So the eagle knocks its beak against the rock, you know, just knocking its beak against the rock so that the beak can come off, right? And new ones can start growing off. That to me is a tough decision. That's a tough way of experiencing transformation. But the ego decides to go through this. Why? Because it is essential for the ego to experience transformation. That's if he wants to live up to 40 years. Okay? So after that, the feathers, then after the beak starts growing back, then that gives the ego the opportunity to use the beak to then pluck the old feathers away from its body so that new feathers can come up, and then it will be easier for the ego to experience a great rebirth of a new ego who can fly again. It can also go on hunting for food and to be able to consume food. But this is not something that comes easy. It is something that goes a long way. It's something that it's something that has to be sustained by commitment. That, like I said, the ego will have to make that decision, not just only based on what you can see all around. It's not just because of the feather that the ego will make that decision. The ego will have to speak to himself. It will make use of the art. It will make use of the mind. Because why? Those are the back end. The art and the mind, they deal with the feelings and they deal with how we feel. How do you feel? You're experiencing pain on the outside based on the exercise that you're doing or based on the practice that you're going through. But it is not just based on what is happening on the outside. What is your art telling you? What is your mind experiencing? Is your mind changing? That is a change of mindset. That is where the transformation really happens, at the back end. At the back end. The back end is the inside. That's where these things are being decided. The transformation starts from the inside, the back end. Sometimes you see a website working perfectly well. Excuse me, it is the back end that is supporting the front end. The back end, this is where systems are taking place for you and I to be able to make use of maybe the ATM working, the computer system or website running properly, or even the ERP that my previous speaker just explained to us. So let's make use of our back end. Let's make use of our heart. Let's make use of our mind. Let's make use of this. Let the mind be transformed so that the outside will be able to experience, so that the outside will be able to benefit of the transformation of the heart. So I'm just running up now because of time. So how do we foster sustainable personal transformation journey? First, we simplify the process. If it's really complicated, then it becomes cumbersome. It becomes very difficult for one to be able to abide in doing the steps consistently. So simplify the process. You want to do something that will change your career. Simplify the process. Take it one step at a time. Maybe this week I'll do this, and then this will give me something at the end of the month. Simplify the process. That's the first thing that we need to do in order to foster sustainable personal transformation journey. And the second one, develop a system. Develop systems. Surround that decision with systems. Put plans in place. Make sure that things are there that can help you to be able to at least experience that consistent personal transformation, that continuous personal transformation. Let there be a system in place. Okay, the next one, ensure that you integrate yourself by connecting with like minds. Integrate yourself by connecting with like minds. To foster sustainable personal transformation journey, you go to the gym, get to the gym with people, if possible, get an accountability partner, someone that you can be accountable to, someone that will probably wake you up at the time you're supposed to go to the gym, someone that if you don't go to the gym, is either you pay the person or there's a penalty or something there for you. And this is what I'm saying. You have decided that, okay, yes, before the end of next month, I must get a new job. What do? You get someone to be accountable to, someone that will look out for you, whether you're doing these things or not. Let me just quickly round up. At the same time, what do you have to do? You need to make sure that you become more valuable to yourself and to others. Do things that will add value to you and to add value to others. And lastly, I just want to say that for you to be able to foster a sustainable personal transformation journey, you may decide that you want to get a coach or a mentor. A mentor is someone that has probably been on the journey that you want to get to, who can show you the way, lead the way, and then it's up to you if you want to go the way. But a coach would then work with you on a regular basis, ensuring that you have the moment, you are encouraged and you have the resources to be able to do what you have set to do. It takes you from where you are to where you ought to be. And you know what? These things don't just happen without your consent. You need to surrender yourself. You need to give yourself to transformation. And that means that you must be willing to experience transformation. And I would like to just leave you with this. Transformation is not just an act, or it's not just anything that happen out of the blues. Transformation happen in you, for you, through you, and it also benefits you. Thank you very much for tonight. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Timoteo. As same as the first one, it's really very knowledgeable, inspiring, and very motivating. It made me remember a line in a movie or and some sort that I have watched a while ago, that one person says, I cannot see where we are going. It's far, or it's dark. And the other person said, what do you see? I see stairs. So just take the first step, the other one said. So it's just a matter of finding what you're able to see at the moment and take that first step, and then you keep on going forward. Yeah, that's really a good line that I have watched. So thank you so much for that one. Any other participants or attendees, who would like to share their insights or ask question with our speaker regards to the topic? Please feel free to unmute. Yes, Ahmed.
Timoteo, you are making a very great speech. Thank you for this motivation that you made for us all. And I know that you are talking about the ego and how you can transform yourself in 90 days or 150 days, right? It's long term. It's very
Sorry?
period. It's a very long period. As you know that there is a lot of people talk about how you can change yourself in just 21 days. So I know this is too small period to make this transformation. I think your words are sound, logic, and also as an evidence-based, as it should be. The one should be transform himself for about 4 months, right? and that's good. I'm getting with it. Yes, you are right. You are right. Thank you for your insights. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think I think at least 3 months. 3 months should be really good for one to be able to experience transformation. Like that's for us as human beings. But for an ego, during the transformation period, which is called the process of molting, that takes 150 days, which is a period of 5 months roughly. So I think that's even a longer time, because it's a painful experience what ego goes through to be able to experience it. It's a painful experience. You have to be biting or let me say, using the beak to just kick against the rock so that the beak can come off. It's just something of you just scratching your mouth so that your mouth can come off, and then new ones start growing off. And then after that, you then use your mouth to then begin to pluck the feathers in your body. And then when those feathers get off, then new ones come off. And then you become like a new baby. You could fly again, you can do everything as normal again. And then it feels as if you have just been born yesterday or that day. And that ego can then go for another 40 years, which is even longer than the previous 30 years that the ego had stayed. So I think what that means is transformation is not going to leave you as you were. It's going to even make you to become better, to be able to enjoy better and to experience something even better. But what happened is, are you willing to go through the pain? And when the pain time is ongoing, are you willing to endure it? Are you willing to invest in it? And are you willing to be consistent with it? And that is why it is essential that we continue in that transformation journey by experiencing continuous transformation journey. But we have to make sure that, okay, that journey is sustainable.
Can I implement this transformation period in my IT projects?
I think you can. And I'm sure you will understand as well that projects, as it's were, right, go through the initiation, and that is after the governance, and that is after the mandate has been set up. So the project needs to be initiated. Then the planning takes place, and then you have the implementation, and then you have to understand that there is a time for the maintenance of that system. So that maintenance is what actually keeps the system going, and before it gets to that's when you then transfer it to the BAU, which is business as usual, and then that is when the evolution takes place. So you create a process, you come up with a product or like improvement to a service as a result of a project. Then after delivering that, then it's been handed over to the BAU team, who takes that project or the service that has been added over to them and then maintain it moving forward. That is where the continuous improvement, and then if anything else could be added to it, you can either pull out that part of the project in order to have like adds on onto it, or then you can just maintain it as part of the BAU.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, and I'm sure based on the stages that I've just mentioned now, it's not something that can happen in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's going to take some time, but it may not take up to 3 months, as I said, and some could even take longer than that. It's the same thing as building a house or a property or something. It just depends on how long it can take to deliver the milestone. Thank you. And any question, please?
I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing any other questions or hands being raised as of the moment. But for sure, with the topics that we have discussed today, the one who will be who have been watching us through live platforms or will be watching this recorded video will surely be more wiser and be able to unlock new difficulties that they will undergo and spread their wings further. So that's this session is really great, talking about changes in any other aspects that we are going through, and also talking about transformation. We start them from younger process. So we also have our live Youth Let Us Talk It webinar every other Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join the preparation sessions every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time by registering at our website, letustalkit.com/youth. And also we have younger youth group. We have preparation sessions Tuesday and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So these are youth and much younger, like kids, starting to learn how to do webinars and sharing their knowledge and insights to other people, not just on the same age, and to the others as well. And that where transformation may start for them. All right. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us, and for the speakers for their efforts and knowledge and inspirations they have provided to us today. And we are looking forward for you to join us again next Wednesday, the same time, for new and exciting topics that will be discussed. All right. So I'm afraid we are gonna end it here, but we will continue sharing our knowledge and inspiration and the motivation to each and everyone. Thank you so much, all, and you all have a nice day or evening. You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you so much. That's really amazing. I've just sent your invite as well, so we can connect and let's see what we can do more as well. Thank you. That was really very insightful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.